Frieren has a funny conversation with Serie at the end of the mage exam where she points out that Serie is kind of a hypocrite. Serie had always scorned her old disciple, Flamme, for the way that Flamme favored the pointless magic of beauty over the useful magic of violence. As far as Serie was concerned, this was the reason why Flamme never realized her potential as a mage. And yet, for some strange reason, Serie also seemed to honor Flamme's love of beauty in her own way. For she had decorated her own private chambers by using Flamme's favorite pointless spell, which summons a field of magical flowers to spring from the earth. Serie regarded these flowers as the very symbol of Flamme's failure as a student, and so it's quite remarkable that Serie nevertheless fills her life with them. But when Frieren asks Serie to explain her behavior, it turns out that not even Serie is able to understand the reason why she's fond of Flamme's flowers. She still insists that Flamme was a failure, and yet, as Serie also adds, somehow she does not regret their relationship. She still remembers Flamme's personality so vividly, along with all her favorite pointless spells. And as a matter of fact, Serie feels the same way about all of her students from the last 1,000 years. All of them were disappointments who failed her expectations. And yet for some reason, Serie cannot forget them, and indeed she often thinks of them and is glad to have trained them. Serie is confused by these feelings because they contradict her personal philosophy, which worships magic strictly as a tool of power and violence. But of course, the reality behind Serie's feelings is actually quite simple. Serie loved Flamme, and she loved her other students, and she loved them because they were companions to her who filled her life with meaning and emotion. But Serie also lives in a perpetual state of childhood in which she refuses to confront the realities of love and loss. Her ancient philosophy of power blinds her to the light of friendship even when it flickers inside of her own heart, and so she cannot understand the simple fact that she loved Flamme's flowers, pointless though they were. Serie cannot hear the way that Flamme's flowers call her to a different kind of life, wherein she abandons the worship of power, and instead follows her student down the path of friendship and beauty. But Frieren was able to understand all of this about Serie during their brief exchange at the end of the mage exam. It dawned on her the moment she noticed that Serie's chamber was full of flowers. Frieren used to be trapped in a perpetual childhood just like Serie is today, unable to interpret the signs of love that lived in her own heart and called her to a different life. But even at that time, she nevertheless differed from Serie in one crucial respect. She did not possess Serie's arrogance because her master Flamme had humbled it out of her. This humility gave Frieren a wisdom which Serie could never acquire, and which rests entirely in the capacity to listen and thus be moved by the people whom she loves. That wisdom led Frieren to a life of pointless beauty, which Serie could never achieve.